So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Why Galaxy Note 10 Plus has been worth the hype and worth the price. Now, a while back, I did discuss why I switched over to the 11 Pro Max, mostly for camera reasons and the simplicity of iOS. But I also mentioned in that video that I would be still using this alongside the Note 10 Plus. And so I really want to share my 9 months later update with this device. When this phone came out, it was actually $11.99 for the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, which was not a cheap price at the time. Still not, but the phone has come down. I think it's like $9.49 right now. And also, Samsung has always had aggressive trade-ins on this phone, so you never had to pay the full price as long as you were just trading in one of your older devices. But instead of talking about the key specs, I want to talk about the first thing of why I think this phone has definitely been worth it, and that's the reliable camera system here. Now, just go ahead and take a look at some of my samples before we talk more about it. So here's a recording of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. You can see 4K 60 frames per second, and the quality is just superb from what I'm seeing. Let me know what you guys are seeing down below. Lots of traffic right now. It is rush hour. And let's see if we can zoom in here. I don't know if we can in this mode. Yes, we can. So you can see there's a zoom in shot. It does get a little bit blurry. These are still smartphone cameras, but you can see not bad overall. Let's zoom it back out. There you go. So as you should be able to see from those results, that the camera system on here is pretty amazing. 12 megapixel main camera. We also have the 12 megapixel telephoto. Also did have a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and that fourth camera right there is just the EOF sensor time of flight to get kind of some more depth in your portrait. But overall, man, just a reliable system, and I've really come to appreciate this more since the launch of the S20 Ultra, which has been nothing but trouble when it comes to the autofocus. Now, some updates have fixed it a little bit, but it still struggles from time to time. This one has been ultra reliable on the Note 10 Plus, and it remains that way to this day. Now, in terms of accessing that camera, it's pretty easy. Just swipe from the lock screen. Now I have the Galaxy Watch Active 2 here for a sample, but you just tap and you just take the photo, and it always turns out well. Also, the wide angle is ultra wide on here. Like, it's wider than I think on even the iPhone. Now over here, if we punch in a little bit more, you can raise up the brightness here. But what I really like about this Samsung phone software, let's bring it a little bit closer here, is that it just has pretty much everything you want right there. So here's your aspect ratios. You do have your timer right here. Everything is easy to find on this camera. There's your flash right there. Now also, if we go over here to more, in other updates since the Note 10 Pluses came out, now you have pro video options here and live focus video. Also, you should note that we can also see the single take mode is now available on the Galaxy Note. So the software, man, it's just incredible for a smartphone. It's everything you want. It's every feature in the kitchen sink right here. And then if you flip it over to the front camera, you'll see it's pretty much the same. You can even back out a little bit wider. So if you're a little bit too tight in on the selfies, back it out just a little bit. And these also turned out pretty fantastic. So gotta say, man, for everything else that comes with the Note, one of the things that really has made this phone worth it has been the camera system. Now, the next one is the phone call quality. Now, I know some of you are like, I don't make phone calls, I don't care, but here's the deal. If you are making one, you're gonna have better reception on this phone than a competing iPhone. Also, you're gonna have better LTE performance. This is one of the things I love most about the Note, is it has very strong LTE connectivity and very good phone calls. So if you are relying on your phone as a mobile communicator, you definitely will love the Galaxy Note 10 Plus's reliability in this factor. It's really a huge plus to this Galaxy Note 10 Plus. This also applies for other Samsung devices as well as the smaller Note 10, but it's one of the standout reasons why I think this phone was definitely worth it. The reason why I think this phone was worth it is because the in-display fingerprint sensor was placed in a better location, I feel like, than the S10 series, just a little bit more in the middle. Also, I found it to not miss quite as often, so very accurate and pretty quick there on the fingerprint sensor for this one. Next thing that has made it worth it is that the Note 10 Plus has been receiving software updates pretty regularly, and it does have now One UI 2.1, Android 10. The support has been good on this phone up until now, and I know always the first year is pretty good, but Samsung seems to be getting better with pushing out updates faster across at least their premium device. When it comes to its overall software, we don't need to discuss this much longer than a few seconds here because it's pretty much everything in the kitchen sink. We do have the link to Windows, the S Pen on board, wireless power share, tons of features that you'll be discovering things for quite some time on this phone. It's just everything that you would want. It even has the Edge panel over here, just like you would get on an Edge phone. So definitely nice that you get everything in the kitchen sink on this phone. If you're looking for all the features combined into one, the Note 10 Plus is still the ultimate device, I feel like. Of course, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus does have support for DeX, and the reason why this phone has been well worth it is tons of RAM in here, 12 gigabytes of RAM, which has made this thing a powerhouse performer. Definitely helped out. I mean, there's no stutters on here. Not that the Note 9 had any issues, it really didn't with 8 gigs, but I always like to have a little bit more. And I like that the base storage on this phone was 256 gigs. That gave the Note 10 Plus plenty of storage here. But in terms of performance, Snapdragon 855, 12 gigs of RAM. The 865 did come out, it is a little bit faster, but it doesn't really feel that way. What really has felt a little bit faster for the S20 series has been the 120 Hertz. So if you do not like 60 Hertz displays, you will want to steer clear of this one. But if it doesn't bother you and you just want all these features, you found the Note 10 Plus on a good deal, I don't think you're gonna have any issues with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. It has a lot of features that kind of make up for that, including what I think is a really good feature for the quarantine times is the S Pen, because when you get bored, you can just swipe down in here to pen up. You can do some drawings to relieve some stress, do stuff like that. Also, you know, there's a lot of sketching apps. It gives you more, an extra thing to do, just an extra thing to do on your phone. And in addition to that, you know, it also is very useful as a tool, like the ability to go ahead and write on the calendar, for example, or, you know, to use AR Doodle, to use live messages, to screen write, to cut things out. There's a lot of things you can do with this S Pen, even take photos. You can double click it to flip the camera around, double click it to flick it the other way. And then if you want to take a photo, just one click, boom, it takes the photo. So very useful little tool right here. And not only that, this S Pen is the smoothest writing S Pen ever. Of course, everyone gets better than the other. You've seen that little delay. Well, it was because on the edges here, you could accidentally, you know, cause some interruptions if you have your fingers right on the edges. But the Galaxy Note 10 Plus's S Pen just feels better than ever to write on. Now, I don't think it feels better than, like, you know, the Apple Pencil for the iPad, but still, it feels very nice here on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Okay, so here's my take on the battery life over my time using it. Now, if you're running this in full, you know, brightness, you're running the WQHD, it's pretty easy to drain this thing in a day. But if you lower down the brightness, if you're not running it at full max all the time, you put it in medium power saving mode, you can easily stretch a day and a half of battery life here with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I typically run it full beast mode, so I charge it every day. It definitely doesn't go more than one day. But still, for everything you're getting, it's got good enough battery life. But I'm a little bit disappointed to state that it doesn't seem to be as good as my Galaxy Note 9 was on battery life. So I will say this is not the absolute best choice for longest lasting battery life, but it does have, you know, what you would expect. The phone that can get me through the day and do all of these features, it will do that. Hey guys, so the video watching experience is just insane on here. Okay guys, so here we are at the home screen, and wow, just look at that. It's like holding a TV in your hand. This thing is humongous, this phone here, but it's also not that heavy, so it doesn't strain too much to hold it. It's pretty light for its size. It's just a really large display with very minimal bezels. Yes, this little punch hole is bigger than the new S20. It doesn't get in the way much at all though. I don't think it's gonna bother you hardly at all. So watching content, watching movies, watching videos, fantastic experience with pretty loud stereo speakers. Camera, it has 5 cameras, 4 on the back, 1 on the front. It also has the much larger. Clearly the one on the bottom's louder. Versus like 3400 milliamp on the Note 10. But still, very good overall media watching experience. One of the reasons why this is definitely worth it, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. So the next thing that really has impressed me about the Galaxy Note 10 Plus and my time using it and why this is worth it is the weight of this phone. At 196 grams, that might seem like a lot, but for a 6.8-inch phone with minimal bezel and being this tall of a device, this phone actually is quite light for its size. I mean, it's pretty similar to the weight of like an iPhone XR, for example. And so while the Note 10 Plus was really hyped up before its launch, just kind of like the Note 20 Plus is starting to become hyped up just now, this phone was worth the price. Now, it was also kind of living up to the hype of a lot of things people wanted out of this phone. I just don't think it had the same level of popularity as the Note 9 because it's more of a refinement. The refinement phones are never as popular as the ones that really just bring it all to the table, and that's what the Note 9 did. This one tried to do that, but I just think at that price point, $1199, people already had the Note 9. It was hard to get people to upgrade to this one. But at the same time, if you're just looking for a Note now, you could find this thing on a deal. You can trade in and get a huge discount. You are not going to be disappointed with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus unless you just want the 120 hertz display. That's its only drawback to me. Samsung throws a 120 hertz display, and of course they're going to improve the camera, get a little bit better battery life. That can always be improved. The Note 10 Plus's upgrade to the Note 20 Plus will probably be the perfect phone for people who want the square design. They want the S Pen experience. They want everything Samsung could throw into the kitchen sink. It's going to be awesome. Again, I still think this phone lends more towards business users, more enterprise users, more people who just want to use it as a practical utility, as a tool, rather than showing off their premium device. Although this does look pretty premium with that Aura Glow, but still, it just seems to lend more to those type of users. So let me know your thoughts about the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Did you pick one up? Did you just get a Note 10 or a Note 10 Plus on Memorial Day? Or whatever, let us know down below. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications because we got plenty more content coming your way for the rest of 2020. Also, I made a new channel, the Nick Ackerman, the More Nick Ackerman channel. You can go ahead and just type it into the YouTube search box, or you can go ahead and just find it on my channel page. If we go here, Nick Ackerman, go to channels here, and you go to More Nick Ackerman, you'll see my new channel. I'm gonna start posting stuff over there, just like things I wouldn't talk about on this channel, more, you know, vlog-based videos, stuff like that. So love to see you over there as well. Be sure to stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.